Welcome back to our CAEL language tip series. Today we're going to start looking at some reading strategies, specifically on how to answer specific detailed questions. Now, when we start a course at university or college, chances are we've got lots of reading to do. Could be just assigned readings daily or weekly. You might have a couple of pages to read. You could have several chapters to read. You might be writing a test in class, which is actually what you're looking at right now. This is a question from a past CAEL test. You can see the text on the left and some questions on the right-hand side. In a testing situation, we have to be extra skilled with our reading because we usually have only a short amount of time to complete the test itself. You can see here that these students would have had about 5 minutes to answer 3 questions based on the text that they see on the left side of the page. With such a short amount of time, we won't be able to read every word on the page slowly and carefully. So we need to develop some strategies that will allow us to find the answers to these questions as quickly as possible. We have to know where to look for those answers. The very first thing that an efficient reader could do would be to skim through the text first. Take 30 seconds even just to notice what it is you're looking at. So you won't read all the words on the page, but starting here at the top of this text, I would let my eyes fall through that first paragraph and just pull out a couple of those key words or main words that identify what this text is about. So I noticed the words course and reports. So this is telling me that this has something to do with perhaps an in-class assignment. I then notice as I look here that there are many bulleted points, and beside each bulleted point, there's a heading. So I can quickly skim read just the headings to get a sense of how this document is organized. I see here the words title, introduction, materials, method, results, discussion, and conclusion. For today's episode, instead of answering the questions from that test, we're going to learn how to locate information using some basic questions to get us started. So a typical question that most students would have as they start a course at school would be simply, when is the work due? In this case, when are the reports due in class? So instead of reading the entire document, what we could do and should do is determine quickly what it is you're being asked to find. So looking at this question, we have some key words here to note. These are the most important parts of the question, and they're going to focus your thinking so that you know what kind of details that you're looking for in the text itself. So when you're asked a question with a when in it, usually you're looking for a date or even a time. So these could involve numbers, and numbers are usually very easy to find within a long document. They tend to jump off the page as you let your eyes fall quickly over the text. So we're now going to scan the document. This is the reading strategy we're using. So just let your eyes again fall quickly over the page starting at the top. Don't read the words, but look for any numbers that you might see because we're trying to figure out when these reports are due. The very first number I see is right here at the beginning part of the section. I see the words 3 p.m. Now, I'm assuming this will be part of my answer, but to be extra sure, what you'll want to do is read the words around the keyword in the text. So in this case, we have a few words maybe before that time. That helps. So I notice here that there's some sort of a deadline. I don't hand the reports in at 3, I hand them in by 3 p.m. So anytime up to 3 p.m., that tells me. Now 3 p.m. is a good start, but in this case, it doesn't tell the whole picture. I'm still looking for some sort of maybe specific date. So it could be the day of a week, maybe the day of the month, maybe a year. So again, I'll return to this document and let my eyes scan quickly. And this word next jumps off the page at me. The word is Tuesday. It's the name of a day of the week, so it starts with a capital letter. And words that start with capitals are always easy to find as well because they're different from the words around them. So Tuesday is probably part of my answer, but to make extra sure, again, I'm going to open it up further and read the part of the sentence that contains that keyword Tuesday. So here I find several other words that complete the idea. I see that reports look like they're due on the first Tuesday of each month. So I'm very confident that I can answer this question now. So as a student, I would understand when I need to submit these reports. But to be extra confident, you might notice that we can directly match some other keywords from the question into the text itself. So the word reports in the question is noticeable right here in the text itself. We can see the word reports. So this is a direct match. I know that these reports are due. That's what my question tells me. And I see that word due again in the text. And these keywords from the question are all falling within the same sentence of the text itself. I've been able to directly match some of these words. So again, that just reassures me that I've got the correct answer. So we would certainly be ready to answer this basic question when the reports are due would be by 3 p.m. on the first Tuesday of each month. Let's try a slightly more complicated question this time. So this time our question reads, can I hand in hard copies of my final reports to the instructor? So again, we're going to start off with deciding what it is we're looking for. So what is it that we need to find? So the keyword that I would focus in on first here would be hard copies. That's the basis of what the whole questions are surrounding. So I know as well that hard copies are also paper copies. This is just another way to say the same thing. So I'm going to scan through the document to find one of those terms, either hard copies or paper copy. All right, starting at the top again, I let my eyes fall quickly down the page, and I don't see either of those terms. They're not in there whatsoever. So I think what I would do in this case is go right back to my question and see if I can locate some other keywords. So I notice here the words hand in. I can try to find those words in the text, although the words hand in's a little bit casual. I'm not sure they'd be written exactly in that format in the text. So as I scan, I don't see the word hand in, but right at the beginning again, I see this word submitted. And the word submit and hand in mean almost the same thing. So this is an example of a synonym. All right, and quite often you will have different words from question to text that mean the same thing, but they're just phrased differently. So we have to be very aware of that to make us efficient readers. So there's one keyword. So my answer is probably, possibly within that sentence there in the text. So I'll maybe just look at a couple of other keywords from the question first and see if I can match them. So this word reports, we've already seen that word. We looked at that when we answered the first question. So this is a direct match. So that wasn't so hard at all. And if I can find the word instructor, I'm sure I've got my answer nearby. So again, looking in that sentence that I've already started underlining, I don't see the word instructor, but I do notice the word professor. And again, these words are close in meaning, so they're synonyms. So my answer is probably within that sentence. Let's have a look then. It says that reports are due on the first Tuesday of each month and must be electronically submitted to your professor by 3 p.m. So I know that when reports are electronically submitted, another way to say that would be to submit a soft copy. Now my question though asks if I can submit a hard copy or a paper copy. So I now know that that's not possible. So I can answer my question and say no. I must submit electronic or soft copies of my reports to the teacher for them to be acceptable. All right, so just to recap what we did today with some reading strategies, we started off with some simple questions to get us set up so that we can answer some test questions next week. But regardless of the complexity of the text that you're working with, we should always get in the habit of skimming through the text first, just to get an overview of what it's all about and to see how it's organized. So you can look for things like chapter titles, headings that you might find, have a quick look at how long that text is in total, and then look at the question that you're asked to answer. So you're going to identify some keywords or some important words in that question, and then you return to the text, and you're going to scan it through looking for those words, or perhaps even for synonyms of those keywords. And once you've found that keyword in the text itself, it's wise to read the sentence, or at least part of that sentence, where the keyword is located, because that's generally where the answer is going to be. Next week, we're going to use these same reading strategies to actually answer a question from a past CAEL test. The question will be a lot more complicated, So stay tuned for that. Join me then. I look forward to it.